there's no way to predict success, but we can predict failure.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. Here is another episode of Commerce Untold. Today I have Oded Friedland, which founded Monkey Business in 1994 with a radical idea. Everyday products don't have to choose between function and joy. For 30 years, Oded designs have been solving small problems with humor. Now we're talking about how humor becomes a strategy, why the market went from friendly to ruthless, and what is the difference between a good idea and a good product? So, Dad, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great, Oded. I really waited for this chat. You have a very, very special company with really special, very special product line you've been doing for quite a while. But before we dive in, I usually ask my guests to share a personal story about their life, something beyond business that maybe most people don't know about you.
Well, I was the European kneeboard surfing champion three
What?
times. Three times, yeah.
3 times?
Yeah, many years ago. The first time I won the European Championship was 89, and then again in 91 and in 95, and I was fifth place in the world.
Wow. What is this sport? Please explain us how it works.
It's surfing, wave surfing,
Mhm.
but instead of standing on the surfboard, I'm kneeling on both knees. And that's basically the origin of surfing. The first images of the Hawaiian natives surfing were on their knees.
Mhm.
But it's kind of a sport that is vanishing. It's really, it's just these old dinosaurs like me that are still surfing on their knees.
Got it. Wow, that's really interesting, and thank you for sharing that. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, know you and the things that you do. So I'm really not surprised. So I really appreciate that sharing. I think it's important for our listeners, to know our guest much better, also on a personal level. So really appreciate it. So let's talk about the company name, Monkey Business. I mean, what's the origin of it, and tell us more about the company and the product that you developed and market.
Well, actually, I started producing and selling items from a very young age. When I was in school, I used to make keychains and sell them. And in high school, I was printing T-shirts and selling them. And during my studies in Bezalel in industrial design, I made an ashtray, which was mainly made from ready-made parts.
Hmm.
And my nickname during the studies was Freddie from the Friedland, yeah. And so I named the product. It had a tag, and on the tag, the name was Freddie Maid.
Got it.
And I started selling these ashtrays, and I was selling them in a few stores also during my studies. And when I finished my studies, and I thought I want to establish a company, I thought Freddie Maid isn't a serious name. I need a serious name, and then
Yeah, yeah. Something with a monkey probably is much more serious, right?
yeah. So Monkey Business came up because um, we I was doing humorous products, but in a serious way.
Hmm.
So like the monkey is the fun, and the business is like the business serious side.
Nice.
Um, yeah, that was the idea of the name.
What do you think is the origin of just mixing your design expertise and digital design studies and with products that deliver some kind of a communication message or some kind of humor, and there's like additional value beyond the design itself? I mean, it is something that was very natural for you. It was always kind of a native, or it was a thoughtful process trying to be differentiating the product, or
I think it was very natural for me.
Hmm.
It's something that I have a strong connection with objects and desirable objects. As a child, I used to collect stones and shells and archaeological artifacts. I always had a strong desire for kind of small objects. It was always,
Hmm.
kind of small scale objects. And when I finished my studies and I established a company, I was looking for a purpose. And I remember a friend of ours came back from Thailand, and he told me that he experienced something special, that everybody is smiling in Thailand. All the locals are smiling, but when you walk in the street here, so nobody's smiling.
Hmm.
And that kind of struck a chord, and I thought that maybe if I could generate smiles through objects, so maybe that is a good purpose. And a few years ago, we had an exhibition in the Design Museum in Holon. The name of the exhibition was Forms of Smiles,
Hmm.
and we calculated that over the years we generated approximately over 10 million smiles. So that was the kind of the general idea of the company. And when we established the company, it was pretty new. Um, uh, this niche today is it's become kind of mainstream. But when I started the company, and I was looking for distributors, so people didn't understand what I was doing. They didn't understand the products. They thought, so you're doing giveaways. Uh, that they saw them as like promotional items, and I said, no, 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 they're not promotional items. They're for purchasing. For people to buy. And But over the years, it became a well-known kind of niche.
Yes, so probably they were surprised it also has like practical use case in addition to the fun of it, right?
Yeah, well, most of our products, not well, all the products have a function. Yeah,
Hmm.
even if the function is to make you smile,
Hmm.
but most of them have an actual function, and I think the connection between the function and the humoristic side is what makes the products work.
Hmm.
And I think that the successful items are the ones that are useful over time. And if sometimes I visit people and I see a product of ours in their home, uh, and it's a product that was launched over 20 years ago, or we stopped producing them,
Hmm.
and they're still in use after 20 years or more. So I think
Wow.
is a success. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So for our listeners who want to get a sense of these products, can you share probably like two or three examples of those products that are serving those, practical or functional use cases, but also, some humor to support that?
Yeah. One of the products is like a memo holder. Today, most of the memos are in our phone, but
Mhm.
uh, it used to be a much more common use of having memo holders on the table. And we have a memo holder in the shape of a donkey, designed by Yaakov Kaufman, who was my professor at the university. And the donkey holds the memos, a bunch of memos, but he also has a clip as a mouth, and he can hold one memo, in use.
Mm.
or a pen, and it was a product that was very common in use. It's a very smart product because before it's called Morris. All the products have a name,
Okay.
and before Morris, all the memo holders were horizontal. So and this memo holder is vertical, and it saves precious room on your desk. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't think people are aware of that. But something maybe in the subconscious
Okay.
works, when the product works. Another one of our famous products is a carrot sharpener. It just looks like an enlarged sharpener, but
Mhm.
it's a peeler, a carrot, a vegetable peeler, and a curler, so you can actually sharpen a carrot
Mhm.
and use the curls in the salad.
Amazing. Amazing. So where people can find these products that
Um, well, we sell in museum stores and design stores, and now the majority of sales are online. We have Amazon stores in the US, in Europe, Canada. Yeah.
nice. And so you've been doing this for like 3 decades. It's also very interesting to me to learn from you because you came from like a design background, right? And then you have to establish a company and start dealing with marketing and supply chains and fulfillment, right? It's a whole operation. But I'm more interested in why, right, the transformation of the industry during those 3 decades. Probably you've started, you know, doing things in a certain way, right? Then the internet probably, came, and today AI and 3D printers. Share with us some of these, highlights of this journey throughout your career in terms of the way you design products, you manufacture products.
Um, well, when I started, well, I think my generation, the people that I studied with, we didn't study computers, CAD
Hmm.
design. Yeah, we were still the first products that I designed. Um, I hand drew the blueprints. It's I think it's
Wow.
very I show my students the first product and the blueprints. It was a very simple product, but I think it's very difficult for them to grasp that we used to draw the drawings on, on a drawing table. Um, and I bought my first computer during my studies. I was doing graphic design, and I bought a Mac 2CI, um, and started doing graphic design with the computer, and then beforehand I was using Letraset. Letraset, for those who
Wow.
don't know Letraset, it's like transfers that children use when drawing. So I used to buy a font in Letraset to use on a t-shirt print. Yeah. And if you think of the possibilities now, that you have like hundreds of fonts. So I think it's difficult to understand the change. Um, but I think there are good things and bad things. Yeah.
Mm.
These changes, it goes many different ways. Yeah. I'll just use the fonts as a way to understand. I used to go to the shop, and there was, I don't know, probably a few tens of fonts that I could buy,
Mhm.
and I had to choose from them. If you think of um, the process of decision making, I have to choose from, let's say, 50 fonts. Yeah. Now you have to choose from thousands of fonts.
Thousands. Yeah.
Yeah. yeah. So and I think one of the most difficult things in design is the decision making. And so if you have so many possibilities, it just makes the decision making much more difficult.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's um, just one example. I think um, two very big changes that happened with the internet um, was one, the time span shrunk. When I finished my studies, I did a project, an international project, and we used to design something, send it by FedEx to France Express. Yeah, so it took 3 days until it arrived, and then they had to take a decision and send it back to us another few days, and the projects took more time, and then we had to send the blueprints to the manufacturer, and they used to make the mold. Everything took more time. And then with the internet, in the press of a button, things are there. They
Hmm.
want an answer now. If you don't answer people now, it's on the WhatsApp, it's on your phone. So if you don't answer people immediately, uh, so so they get annoyed. So it has advantages and disadvantages. Things take much less time, but I think bottom line, we we're working much more harder.
Yeah.
There's much more work, and everybody's saying that the AI is going to take the work from everybody, and there won't be jobs or won't be work. Maybe, I don't know. It's very, very difficult to predict what's going to happen with the AI, but I have a feeling that we're going to work harder.
Okay. You work harder because you have like more competition. It's very easy to break through into the niche. I mean, you have to reiterate a lot to be truly differentiated. I mean, all
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things.
and you have to learn and adapt and work to learn and adapt, and
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah. But let's see. Time will
Yeah.
tell.
And I assume when you started, China was not that powerful, right? I mean, they're moving fast, right? And it's another probably, fact of life or like a event in the industry that is probably impacting, right? A lot of designers and a lot of products out there.
Yeah. I think it's a huge revolution. Um, I visited in China a few years ago. There in the past decade, over 1900 design schools opened in China.
Wow.
I'm talking about higher education,
Yes.
faculties in the universities and everything. And I'm sure that these designers have jobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the Chinese now, that when they enter an industry, and we can see it now with the car industry. A few years ago, there weren't any Chinese cars on our roads.
Hmm.
Now I think the
Yeah.
maybe close to the majority are Chinese cars, or the majority of the new cars on the road are
Correct. Yeah.
Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think many industries are just going to be swallowed. Um, and If in the past we used to say Chinese products are cheap, um, so that they will get better and better,
Yes.
and cheaper, but better.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I think the competition from the Chinese industry will become stronger and
Yeah,
stronger in all the industries probably.
yeah. So with that, I'm interested about your thought process, specifically when you approach, innovation and new product design. Do you see something and said, okay, I can solve a problem, and then I always need to add additional layers of like you talk a lot about products as tool of communication, right? And adding humor. How do you how do you think, and what is the process that usually you work when you focus on product development and innovation?
The goal that we're looking for is good problems. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
if you find a good problem, then the solutions are relatively easy.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be much easier to find products that hadn't been designed. Or I'll give you an example. I used to go to hardware stores for inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
because the products in the hardware stores were products that were designed by engineers and not by designers. Yeah, in the past, I'm saying. So one of the first products that I designed was a doorstop. Um, and because all the doorstops were triangulars, simple triangles
Mm-hmm.
from rubber or plastic that was stuck in the door. And I said, "Wow, that's a great product to design." Yeah, and when we launched that product, there was no competition. There was
Mm-hmm.
either the door stoppers in the hardware stores or our design in the
Wow.
design stores and museum stores. Nowadays, it's much more difficult to find a product that hasn't been touched by designers. So sometimes, yes, the idea comes from a problem and we provide a solution, like a recent product that we launched is a garlic keeper. It's a container from terracotta.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the added value that we added, because there are many garlic keepers, is a special plate for the loose cloves. Because many times when you're cooking, you don't use the whole garlic head, and you have these loose cloves that are together with the garlic heads
Mm-hmm.
inside the container, and you have to kind of fish them out.
Mm-hmm.
So the solution was like an added value to an existing item. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just to add a small function that can provide the added value. Um, uh, it, with the humor side, I think what we try to do is to design products that appeal to the brain, but also appeal to the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at an item and the design is desirable or appealing, even if you don't know what the function is, but the design has some kind of an appeal. And then when you understand what the function is, like let's say the carrot or the carrot sharpener. Um, so when you understand what it does and it makes sense, even though you know this item from a different function, so it clicks. Yeah, and with the successful items, so there is like a connection between the heart and the brain side
Yes.
of things. And um, and we try that. Well, I mean, if we succeed, so it won't be a one-time gag, meaning it won't be a joke, but
Okay.
it'll be appealing to different senses, and different emotions.
Yes.
Um, and this brings me to another thing, that many of our products people buy as gifts. They don't buy for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you see something that you think is appealing and you think, my sister will love that, right? Because, I don't know, because she's a vegetarian, or because she loves carrots, or because she loves humor. So when you buy that gift and you give it to her, it says something about you,
Mm-hmm.
and it says something about her. And I think the when it all comes down, the reason that we surround ourselves with objects, with products, with clothes, specific clothes, it's like an extension of ourselves. Yeah. When I have a product, a humoristic product in my kitchen, it says something about me.
Yeah.
And when let's say you, as a gift buyer, buy something that appeals to the person who received the gift, so everything kind of connects. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And it's all in your head. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that it must have a practical use case, right? A specific function, and it needs to work for a long time. This is the foundation of everything, for sure. But
Yeah.
then you add all the unique sauce, right, to all of it. So you need to have this, the design, make it interesting, unique, humoristic, but it needs to be working, to the function that it's supposed to serve, right?
Yeah.
How this is, I mean, you use your both side of the brain to make this happen, or you have like more support inside the company to do that. I mean, how this is
Well,
been
well,
designed.
nowadays most of the products are designed by freelance designers that we cooperate with.
Okay.
Many of the designers have been working with us for many years, so they understand the DNA of the
Hmm.
company and what we do. Um, and I think part of the process is intuitive, um, and part of the process is very analytic. Um, and I I think that there's no way to predict success, but we can predict failure,
Mm.
because there are many aspects um, that have to come together in order for a product to be successful in the market. I mean, a commercial success, because there are other successes, yeah, besides commercial success when we're looking at design.
Hmm.
But for a commercial success, all the P's have to come together, right? The
Yes.
product, the packaging, the price. There's many aspects that have to work. Uh, Design is one of them. Yeah, sometimes we'll look at a product and we'll say it's not desirable.
Mm.
And we'll stop and we'll go back to the drawing board and try to get it right. And sometimes we don't.
Yes.
But but sometimes we will look at a product, everything seems right, but the price is wrong. We can't reach a production price that will
Hmm.
enable us to sell the product at the correct perceived value. And so we have the experience to say this will be a commercial failure because of the price.
Hmm.
And then and that's experience. In when I was young, I was so passionate and desperate to realize my designs, and I launched many products I should have known that they would be
Okay.
failures.
Yeah.
So we can predict these failures, not always, but I think it's like doing tests and ultrasound for the babies in the
Okay.
womb. Yeah, like if there is a problem, you can see the problem. It doesn't say that all the babies that will be born will be healthy, but sometimes you can see the problem, and you can predict that the baby will
Yes.
not be healthy.
And probably
So
today. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
so I think it's the same in the process that we do. Yeah.
Yeah. And probably today, with all the tools that we have, right, you can also probably reiterate and kill products like much earlier, right, than it used to be.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we don't have to kill the product, but we have to change direction.
Change direction of
You
the
know,
similar concept, right? Yeah.
yeah. We can if there's an idea that we believe is good, and we haven't reached the right price, so sometimes we can try to increase the perceived value, maybe change material, change the packaging,
Hmm.
change the production method, and make the product higher value. Or on the other hand, try to uh, decrease the price production cost by the same thing, by changing the material or the
Yes.
packaging. But and sometimes we succeed and sometimes we don't.
Hmm.
It depends.
All right. So, Oded, you've been, I mean, mixing or doing your commercial work throughout those years, right, with Monkey Business, but alongside, you always, kept time and invest in teaching, right, in the academy. Why you are still doing that? Why you think it's very important for you?
Um, I love doing the things I love,
Okay.
and I really enjoy teaching. I think it's a privilege to teach, to share knowledge, and as a designer, I will be 60 soon. It keeps you young
Yes.
because you're in touch with the future of the profession, and I learn a lot from our students.
Hmm.
Um, but mainly, I really, really enjoy it, and I think it developed me also as a designer. I think when you prepare a class and you dive into a topic, so you always learn new things, and it kind of makes even the things it clarifies and puts them in perspective. So
Yes. Yes.
it's really good fun, and we have really, really talented designers, and another advantage is that I can pick the really talented ones
Mm.
because I know them personally, and then
Nice.
start collaborating with them with Monkey Business.
With
Yeah,
monkey business. Great,
yeah.
great. So on another topic of that, you mentioned that in the early days you were you got inspiration for like hardware store, but eventually you developed products that were in like museum stores, like more specialized, stores or opportunity to purchase. But now you're going mass market, right? I mean, you're on Amazon for a few years already. You have a Shopify website. We're working together on TikTok Shop and also on marketplaces. So that you're going like much more broader in terms of your reach, right? Trying to introduce the products to a broader scope of potential customers.
Um, I I think the marketplace has changed drastically,
Hmm.
um, and I think the we we, we always wanted to sell in masses, Yeah, it's not that we didn't want to sell, but the location of a product is very, very important. Yeah.
Important.
Um, uh, People won't understand our products if they're not located in the correct environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was always very important to sell in the right places. The shift in Amazon was a tremendous shift for our company, because the whole brand was based on impulse buying products. When I started the company, I was a young designer. I just finished the design academy, and I traveled to Europe, and I entered the museum stores, and everything was expensive. For me as a young graduate, but everything was very desirable. I wanted everything in the museum store, and I thought maybe we could create products that would be desirable and affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And what the idea was to be the cheap or affordable products in the expensive stores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and many times we were the products next to the cashier.
Mm.
And then someone sees a product, for €10, €6, €12, and they buy it. And many of our products, people used to buy in 3 or 4 units. I'll get one from my sister, and one for my mother, and one for my daughter. In Amazon, it's SEO, right? It's all people.
Keywords driven, search driven. Yeah.
Search-driven products. Some of our products, they don't have a search word.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we have a series of items called corkers. They're collectibles, and they're push pins in the shape of animal parts,
Mm-hmm.
or different kinds of parts. And it's a gift that you give together with a bottle of wine. And when you remain with the cork, you use these parts and you create figurines with the
Nice.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no search word for this product.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, we sold over 1 million units in the retail stores,
Wow.
and it hardly sells on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was one of our best sellers in the retail stores, in brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
So when you see it next to the cashier, you have to buy one. It's really, really desirable. It's a fun
Yes.
product. It's a great product. And we talked about use, that there is no actual function here besides keeping the cork when you finish the bottle of wine.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a fun product to play with during a dinner party. And it's a very, very unique, creative, original concept.
Yes.
And we didn't know when we started this project. We had no idea. We knew we loved it, but we had no idea if it would be a commercial success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a huge success. Yeah. So Amazon has its challenges, and the other thing with regarding competition is that it's very aggressive. Everybody sees how much you sell of what,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have under the product, this product sold 300 units this month. So if you have a successful product that is selling on Amazon, very quickly people will imitate or
Yes, I
mimic
mean, very easy
competition.
to create knockoffs, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
and this is why product innovation and launching new things is so fundamental, right?
yeah,
For the
yeah.
long term success.
And what we talked about before, it happens much quicker than it happened in the past. So
Yes,
now knockoffs, they arrive in the market very, very quickly.
very, very quickly. Yeah, yeah. All right, Oded. So where people can find your website? I mean, how they can buy? Maybe you can share a few URLs. Obviously, we'll share it on the show notes. Yeah, but share with us what is the best way to approach monkey business, check the products, and
Well, we have our own shops. We have one in for the U.S. market and one for the international markets, and Amazon. If you look up monkey business design, so it'll pop up, and in selected retail stores. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Uh,
great. Oded, anything else you want to add?
it was great fun. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay. Okay. I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, you have a very unique perspective of approaching, product management, product design, and which I think was the focus of our chat today. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. I learned a lot. I wish you, great success in the new initiatives, right? Launching a new channel and and all the best.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It was great fun.